Let's take a look at the operation of REPLEI. So this is the research plan I am using in my studies and with my students. This is a form developed by me. It has both the Estonian language and English version. And the research plan components that we specified earlier can be seen on the pages below. First, the student has specified the keywords of the study, which stipulate the planned work. Then secondly, common European research classification scheme. For this research, the student has selected P176, artificial intelligence. Then based on BCF number, the main business process, and here the student has selected several business processes which her research can be attributed to. This is managing employee inquiry process, collecting and recording employee time worked, analyzing internal operations, and reviewing employee performance. Then followed by listing relevant theories, object of research, process to be studied, innovative solution, description, the context of research, and the title of research. So there are 64 fields describing the research which the student has submitted in the form of this research plan, which is a Microsoft Word document. So once we have this document, we can now activate REPLEI. This is the user interface of REPLEI, which is very simple, very straightforward, only few steps to do to reach the output. So first we select the student research plan by selecting a folder where the student research plan is located. The second option, if we would want to evaluate at the same go several students' works, like sometimes they present courseworks and you may have 50 students and then you want to do all these at one go, then we would select the parent folder. But at this example, we only select one student research. So the student research plan has now been extracted. The important and relevant research components from that research plan have been extracted and saved as a text file. Here at the terminal output, we can see that the text file creation was successful, which means that and we can go on and do the evaluation by hitting the third button here, which will start the large language model queries for this research plan. The queries are taking place, and this will take for a while for all the 64 components to be analyzed, and also at the second stage the alignment check to be completed. So as we were dealing with only one student research plan, this was completed in less than a minute, and we already have the results stored in the same folder as the research plan as a report. If we are dealing with non-English course or non-English students, then there is an option to translate the query. So this translates the evaluation report into the specified language. So in configuration, I have set Estonian as the second language. So hitting that button will initiate another API call and use the LLM to translate the report. Translating report makes communication with the student more easier, as you can use the native or whichever the language is, native language or other language, to communicate with the students. REPLEI has finished the task of translating the evaluation report into the language used in the course and with the student, which is an Estonian language. So we have Estonian report on the right and in English on the left. For the purpose of this demonstration, I will only go through the English report. We can also close REPLEI because REPLEI's task has been completed. We saw that in about a minute the evaluation was done, and also the translation to the native language of the course was completed. So let's close REPLEI and go through the evaluation report. So first, as we saw in the component check description part of this presentation, we are giving scores and comments to the students' research components. So first the keywords get 0.8, so the scores are on the scale from 0 to 1. And the comment by REPLEI is that the keywords are relevant but could be expanded to include terms like financial institution and employee performance to better capture the context and focus of the study. So these more specific keywords are recommended by REPLEI by understanding the general idea of the study and also taking into account all the other components that had been specified in the research plan. The Common European Research Classification Scheme, CERCS, gets a score of 1, which means that the classification is appropriate and aligns well with the research focus on the artificial intelligence. Also, the description of the main business process seems to be pretty spot on, where the REPLEI comments that the business process are clearly identified and relevant to the study. However, when we look at the relevant theories which the student specified, REPLEI only gives 0.5 and comments that these theories are mentioned but not detailed, and then mentioning that the AI theory and process optimization theory are too broad by definition. So the student should specify particular theories or models within AI and process optimization that will guide the research further on. The object of research, the process to be studied, the innovative solution, the context of research, and the title of this research get all top grades together with the specific problem. So the specific problem has a comment. The problem is clearly articulated, highlighting the inefficiency of manual information searching. So the student has clearly understood what is the problem under investigation. However, knowledge gap gets a little bit less, 0.8, saying the gap is identified but could be more specific about what aspects or virtual assistants in business context are under-researched, and asks the student to provide more detail on specific areas that lack this research. So research aim gets 1, main research question gets 0.7 because the research question is not explicitly stated as a single question, and it suggests to formulate a clear overarching research question. Also, the sub-research questions do not get the top score because they are present but could be more explicitly linked to the main research question. And this is to ensure that the sub-research questions are clearly derived from the main research question. So let's go on. Let's see what else we have here. Pretty much the student has done, in my opinion, good work with this research plan, because many of the research components get score of 1. I have reviewed this research plan also, of course, manually by myself, and had a consultation with the student for 1 hour discussing this research that she is about to do. And I would concur that most of the scores and comments given by the this tool REPLEI are pretty spot on. In some parts, I would say that REPLEI is more critical than I am. REPLEI seems to find things and emphasize issues that I would think are not maybe such big issues, but that's not the problem. For some components as flowchart, REPLEI has given 0 because it's not given. But my research plan I'm using here with the student does not require the student to produce a flowchart, so flowchart is optional. Sample size, as we can see here, has scored pretty low, 0.5, and the comment is that the sample size is small, and asking to consider increasing the sample size to enhance the validity of the study. So if we go back to the original research plan, we see that the student has only planned to test, to ask 10 people to test his her innovation. So that means that indeed the sample size is small, but given that this is only a coursework and it is by my instructions 10 people are enough for a coursework, I cannot hold this against the student. So, but REPLEI, of course, correctly identified that the 10-person sample size is too small. Frequently, students forget to describe what is their contribution to the work or the innovative solution, as with this AI coursework. But here we see that the student's contribution is clearly described, and REPLEI has given a score of 1. And the main important parts of the research plan, of course, from the supervisor's point of view, are the variables and the method of analysis. And we can see that the main variables have been well defined. This is field 46. And the selected methods for statistics are also properly thought through. So we can see that the student uses descriptive statistics and student's t-test, and also the correlation analysis in a form of correlation matrix, together with statistical significance tests, meaning calculating the p-value. So REPLEI is satisfied how the student plans to analyze the results. When we proceed to the stage 2 of the evaluation, meaning the alignment check, we see more issues. So that's, I would say, a noteworthy capability of REPLEI, where the individual components of the study might be well thought through, but do they really fit in with the general theme of the research, and do they align to the same direction of the research? So that is determined by the alignment check. And we can see that once again the sample size is pointed out as too small, and asking to consider the sample size, to increase the sample size to at least 20 to ensure more robust and generalizable results. And proceeding to the main parts of the alignment check, we can see that the specific problem is not perfectly aligned with the knowledge gap scoring 0.8. And the comment is, the specific problem of time-consuming manual information search aligns well with the knowledge gap regarding the underexplored use of virtual assistants in organizational context. However, the knowledge gap could be more explicitly tied to the specific challenges faced by employees in the financial institutions operations department. The alignment between the specific problem and research aim is pretty good. However, the alignment with the specific problem to sub-research questions is scored as 0.7, and REPLEI highlights that the sub-research questions are generally aligned with the specific problem, focusing on the development and testing of the virtual assistant. However, they could be more detailed in addressing how the virtual assistant will specifically solve the problem of time consumption. So here we can see that LLM has demonstrated its ability to read in between the lines and to seek out the shortcomings that might go unnoticed by superficial evaluation. Let's go on. So also 0.7 is the score of for alignment between knowledge gap and sub-research questions. So once again, sub-research questions are highlighted, and the comment goes, the sub-research questions address the knowledge gap by exploring the implementation and impact of virtual assistant. However, they could be more focused on how this research will expand the current understanding of virtual assistants in organizational settings. So the recommendation by REPLEI is to bring this research more into the context of the specific organizational setting under investigation. Let's go on. Most of the alignment is satisfactory. There's one score of 0.7 which characterizes the alignment between sub-research questions and to the research method. So once again we see that the sub-research questions are noted by REPLEI, commenting that the research method addresses the sub-research questions, but the inclusion of qualitative data could strengthen the analysis of user feedback and satisfaction. So as the questionnaire is used by the student and capturing the users or test users opinion or experience in the form of statements, and the answer format is Likert scale 1 to 5. We see that the going more deeply into the experience by asking open-ended questions is something that REPLEI would recommend. We have some low, like mediocre scores, more to come. So 0.6, the score of 0.6 is given to study design compared to sample, where the sample size of 10 is once again highlighted and underscored. And 0.7 is given to the alignment between questionnaire variables that characterize respondents' background and to the subsamples. So this score is lower because the questionnaire variables are relevant, but the subsamples could be more clearly defined to ensure comprehensive analysis across different demographic groups. So we see that REPLEI has identified that we have subsamples, but the student has characterized subsamples in the research plan, but the questionnaire variables could be more detailed to characterize these subsamples. But the overall assessment is good. REPLEI says that the research plan is well structured with some areas for improvement, particularly in sample size, qualitative data inclusion, and detailed experimental setup. So this is the research that this is the output by the virtual co-supervisor called REPLEI, which I can discuss further with the supervisee, the student.